This information addresses what to do when the vanishing point is really far off the page. We're still talking about two-point perspective, but you'll find this covered in chapter 12. So take a look at pages 156, 157, 158, and it will cover what we're doing today. I'm hoping that it's pretty straightforward, but I thought it would be worthwhile to do a video and actually apply that information to drawing an object. Here's our horizon line, and here is our center of vision. So in one-point perspective, lines that go back in space will go to the center of vision, of course, and horizontal lines are going to be parallel with the picture plane. When you're working with two-point perspective and you're drawing things that are at a 45-degree angle, then the left and right vanishing point are usually on your paper, or even 30-60 degrees. If they're off the paper, they're usually not off by very far. But if you wanted something that was just slightly out of one-point perspective, instead of the lines that go to the center of vision, you will have lines going to a left vanishing point. And we want that left vanishing point just to be a little bit off of the center of vision. So here's our left vanishing point. Now when doing this, the right vanishing point becomes really far away. This has to be 90 degrees at the station point. Now this vanishing point is off my paper, it's even off my drawing board. So instead of getting a large piece of paper or getting a bigger drawing board, we can set up a grid to guide us. Now in the book it starts out with setting up a grid like this, taking a line and dividing it into even spaces, and then taking another line and dividing that into the same number of spaces and drawing a grid. You don't really need to do this. You don't need to create this much of a grid, because you're probably not drawing things that are down here. This is way outside the cone of vision. Your drawing's going to be up into this area, so we don't need to draw a grid down here. So a little more economical approach is doing it this way, where you take a line and you divide it in half, and then you half, and you just keep doing halves. Let's do that. So I'm going to use this line that goes to the station point, and I'm going to divide this in half. And then over here someplace, it doesn't matter so much where, but so I just move my ruler to find a nice even spot where I can put a halfway mark, and then connect the two dots. So this blue line is going to connect with the green, these two green lines. They're all going to meet on the horizon line at the same spot. Now I'm not going to draw down here, so I can leave that the way it is. But this, I need a little more of a grid up and through here. And do a halfway mark. And then over here, do another halfway mark. Connect these dots. Let's do one more, because 2 lines is not very much. I'm going to take this, we'll do half, and then come over here and halves. Usually I do maybe 3 like this. Maybe add another one if I'm drawing something in here. Maybe I could put one in through here, or if it's up in here, I could put in another line, another grid line here. But we're just going to keep it here at these 3 blue lines. All of these connect to the right vanishing point. So let's draw just a box. And I'm going to put the corner let's say put the corner of the box here, just making this up. So the lines that go over here to the left vanishing point, easy. The lines that go to the right vanishing point, well, this is where the grid comes in, and you use the grid as a guide to get the angle correct. What I do is draw like a long light line, and then I can take a look at it and see if it looks like it's going uphill or downhill. So this looks like it's going uphill a little bit, like it's it's slightly too angled. So I'll straighten this out slightly. That looks better. We'll make this 1 unit tall. I'm just using inches here. So this one, again, easy. There's your left vanishing point. And this, I might do that same thing. Take a nice, light, long line. See how that looks in relationship to the grid. I think this one's going uphill slightly. So just that a little bit. It's kind of hard with your ruler to put it even because it's blocking this grid a bit. So it's sometimes hard to see if the angle is looking right. But if you're ever in doubt, you can just make a tighter grid. You can make as tight of a grid as you like. From here, we have the issue of measurements. So we made the height 1 unit tall. And let's make the side that goes to the left vanishing point, we'll make that 2 units. And maybe make the side that goes to the right vanishing point, we'll make that, how about 3 units. So for this, we need a measuring line. I'm going to put it right here, touching the front corner of the box. Here's 1, 2, 3 units, and here's 2 units. Here's 0, 3, 2. So to measure the side that goes to the left vanishing point, that's a pretty easy task to find the measuring point. We just take the distance from the vanishing point to the station point and swing that up to the horizon line. And this gives us our left measuring point. And then we count over the 2, go to measuring point, where it intersects this line, there's 2. So to make this 3, this is a little bit of a problem because we don't have that vanishing point to swing up from to get our right measuring point. And it kind of defeats the purpose of doing this whole grid to extend a piece of paper out to find that vanishing point. Here's an alternative way of finding the right measuring point without needing a vanishing point to do it. Let's talk a little bit about where these measuring points are. They're not halfway between the center of vision and the vanishing point. Where it is, though, it is halfway between the center of vision and the line coming from the station point that leads out to the right vanishing point. It's halfway between these two in degrees. So if I just take a line and connect it to this left vanishing point, for instance, put a protractor here, it is halfway between these two. So this is another way of finding the measuring point. You could take a protractor, put it here, and split this difference and extend it out, and you will have that right measuring point. You would need a big protractor though. This one I think would be too small. If I'm off, a little bit here and project that out, it's going to be pretty far off up and through here. So here's another way of finding this halfway like degree. You take the distance from the station point to the center of vision and you project that to the line that goes to the left vanishing point. It hits right there. What you're doing is making these two lines the same length. You could do that with a ruler. Then take a triangle and make a 90-degree angle line. And where it intersects the horizon line, that is the right measuring point. Then you count over 3, go to the right measuring point, hits right there. And then you're just connecting dots. This tool here comes in really handy with a lot of situations, especially with inclines. With inclines, you have vanishing points that are often very far away. And if you're doing different angles in 3-point perspective, this comes in really handy. Any situation where you have vanishing points off your paper, this is a really good tool.